topic, we didn't speak about how to deal with chutzpah. Did you pay attention to it? It's the most important topic, and we didn't talk about it. How can it be? But it's by mistake or I did it intentionally?
Intentionally.
Why intentionally?
You
Because-
prepare us, Rabbi.
Ah,
You prepare us.
no. So let's think together. The older ones over here. Why wouldn't we had chutzpah to the parents?
I didn't even consider it.
Okay,
My mother was my mother, my
We
father
know
was my
that.
father, and that's it.
we know that. Very good. Why not?
Because that's how
Respect,
we were
honor.
brought up before. That's how the parents gave us the education, to have a kavod to the parents and the elderly people.
Aren't we doing the same thing today?
Yes.
No.
Maybe they're spoiling them too much. My parents didn't spoil us too much. They just showed us they loved us all the time.
No, no, no. No, no, no. Spoiling, we spoke about it. But,
My parents wouldn't put up with it.
okay,
We tolerate more, I think. Or, you know, we look the other way more.
Rabbi, you're talking about the older, like older parents or like the younger generation parents?
our time.
Our time. I feel like as the parents get older, like they become, like they get scared to stand up in front of their kids. They
No.
afraid, but that makes the kids more chutzpanim. No?
Why
It's also
we,
a sign, excuse me, a sign of Mashiach. We're getting closer to Mashiach. Chutzpah is going to increase.
okay. But who said that it has to increase by us? Maybe the world today is very chutzpahdik, right? But who said that it has to come to our homes? Okay. So let's see why chutzpah is an outcome of not a proper message from the parents. Can you deal with a symptom or you have to deal with a problem?
With a problem.
You have to deal with the problem.
So chutzpah is not the problem. Chutzpah is the outcome of the problem. So that's why I didn't want to deal with the what?
With a symptom.
With the symptom.
Symptom.
Very good. I didn't want to deal with the symptoms. I want to go down to the real problem that bringing the chutzpah out. So now, we spoke about it many times. that a man and a woman don't think the same. And they don't react the same. That's okay. It's legitimate. It's fine. And we cannot say, and we cannot cancel it and say it's no good. Hashem did it on purpose that we should have two opinions. That's fine. When your child going to school, okay, you think all the teachers are on the same page? Are they all thinking the same?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Now, do they all have the same character?
No.
One teacher is tough, one teacher is fun, one teacher is like this. But after all, what is the goal? To educate the child according to what the school wants you to educate. So each one has his own way to educate. So it's allowed for the parents not to agree. You hear what I'm saying? It's allowed to have disagreement. By the way of we approaching the chinuch. Abba wants to be tougher, Eva wants to be more lenient, or vice versa. But if this argument will be next to the kids, it's going to be something then the outcome will be that it's going to be very difficult to give a proper chinuch to the child. Example, the father gave a punishment to the child, and Ima expressing her objection in a loud voice. So what is she doing now?
She's basically making a fool out of her husband. She's showing the kid she doesn't agree with the husband.
So now, what happened to the child?
Confused.
She giving the child the koach. She strengthening him. And she planted a seed inside the heart of the child that injustice was done over here. My father is doing injustice. Even my mother jumped from her chair. So what's going to be the outcome? Not only that the punishment will not achieve anything, over here, you planted the seeds for chutzpah. Now you know where the chutzpah is coming from?
That's correct.
It's starting in our house.
It's when one parent undermines the other parent
That's it.
in front of the child.
Yes. You remember in our time, when your father used to say something is the mother one time interfered. Not something that I remember. Not at all. Today, unfortunately, is not the case. Unfortunately, I have to say it. When Ima don't want to supply the needs of the child, he comes with a weird request. And Ima says, no, I'm not going to give it to you. And the father comes and said, why are you doing this to him? Why? Why are you saying no all the time to this child? Give him what he wants, no? So here we come. Now we have a lawyer for the child. And they're starting to argue in front of the child. Or even if they're going inside the room to argue with each other, the voices are so loud that the child hears everything. So what happened? The child opening up his eyes to see that Ima, she is not right. So you think that in this house you see some kind of a discipline.
No, the child doesn't see any authority. And he doesn't feel like he can trust
Okay.
their behavior. He doesn't trust their behavior.
So chutzpah is an outcome of no discipline. So I can allow myself to say whatever I want. That's what happens. Chutzpah is a symptom. And we have to know that. Meaning when the child starting to be chutzpahdik, we know that there is the that the discipline in this house is lacking. Probably Abba and Ima having arguments next to the kids and they're not able to discipline them, and that's why they're becoming chutzpahdik. The child has to know that if Abba or Ima said something, they're not going to take their word back, no matter what it takes. If we're not going to implement this at home, if I said something to the child to do, the child has to see that your words have weight.
Rabbi, excuse me, I think the word consistency is very important here.
Yeah.
And the child wants it. It's not that the child doesn't want it. Once
Sometimes I'm consistent, I'm saying, and I'm not standing by my words. So you're very consistent, So you have to be determined. I said it, it must be done. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, the child will get a message. That's it. Now, can we think for a second how many times we gave in to the child even though we told them to do something? Who is the brave one over here? To
Many
admit.
times.
Huh?
Always. Many times.
So you think that you have a chance to discipline this child? They know already that your word is worthless. Don't they know? And yet, it can come to a point that the child will have a picture in his mind that one of the parents is the good one and the other one is the bad one. You remember this one? The good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Somebody is good and somebody is bad, and sometimes the bad changing himself to ugly. So now, what happened? The child automatically will be very good to the good one and will turn the cold shoulder to the bad one because that's what he has in his mind. And this is going to hurt the chinuch. And then the relationship between the parents will start to get on the limbo also. You turning my son against me. Look, he doesn't even want to listen to me. And it might be that the other parents enjoying it because the child is close to him. And the other one feels she stole the child from me. Or he stole the child from me. It can get to places that we don't want to get there. We don't want to get there. The parents must know, that you have to appear in front of the kids as a unit. Same page, same opinion, even though you disagree in the overall picture. But for now, for the good of the child, for the chinuch of the child, you have to support each other. So that was in our time. We didn't see argument between the parents about the kids. A father said a word. We knew he means business. My mother, same way. And that was the generation, actually. Even in the classroom, I remember we were doing, shtiks, kids. But to answer back the Rebbe, I cannot recall. I cannot recall. Today I get phones, telephone calls from the yeshiva or from somewhere that the child cursing the teacher. Where is this coming from? He's so out of discipline. Who knows what house this child is growing up with, that he's allowed himself to not only to be chutzpah, to curse. Imagine a child, 8 years old, 7 years old, telling his Rebbe, you stupid. Did you hear that? Today I hear it left and right. It means that the child is totally not disciplined. And when this child will grow up, why?
Koraf, I'm so sorry to bother you. Somebody's asking a question in the chat. Can I read it to the Rabbi?
Yeah, please.
It says, if we already made this mistake, how can we reverse the negative effect if the children are already older?
How old they are?
I don't know. I just read the question that was given. I don't know the age.
Even for younger kids, same question.
Mama,
Even for younger kids, same question.
this is not a problem. The parents should sit with themselves and say, okay, we're changing tactics.
Koraf, the answer was given grown-up kids, so I don't know the age. It says grown-up kids.
With grown-ups, already the damage was done. That's why I'm telling you, when the kids are small, still under your control, while you're busy arguing with your husband or with your wife all day, and is a power struggle that do not end, not on the account of the kids. Your life project will go to waste. And this will lead me to think how important your kids for you. When I know that something is very important for me, I'll do everything to protect it. Everything. It's not been done. Just today I had a conversation with a lady that she's a therapist. She told me now they're coming up with a new idea. The therapist should sit inside the classroom to see what's going on there. And she's saying to me, actually, They should send me to the house to see what's going on there. I know what's going on. Why they jumping on the kids? Skinny. They are the victims. We should deal with the parents. The kid is not born chutzpahdik. He's not. He became chutzpahdik. When the child will get you seriously, when he sees that Abba and Ima is like a wall. That's it. Then he will know, and that's discipline. That's exactly discipline. It's very important to emphasize that sometimes we're losing ourselves. It can happen. You know, sometimes a person losing his temper, and in a moment of weakness, he gave the child a very severe punishment. That after a second thought, Behemet, the child did not deserve such a big punishment. The other parents should not criticizing it loudly. Say to your husband or to your wife, maybe we can go for a walk. It's a nice weather outside, huh? Let's go a little bit for a walk. And then outside you can talk and say, well, what did you do? So now the parents have to come up with an idea how to get out from this mistake, to get out of the situation with respect, you know, not to feel that you lost it. Meaning, the punishment will stay, but very light one. Not what I said in the beginning. But the child, he didn't see no arguments. And then Ima or Abba came to him with an idea that they have between them. And he said, you know, I spoke to Abba. Behemet, you deserved it, but I was able to talk to Abba to influence him. So we came up with a conclusion that we're going to ease it up on you a little bit. But what happened over here? What's the message? The child understands that Ima spoke to Abba. There is no argument. She tried to influence him, you know. But very good. Very good. Everybody came out when he gained something out of it. Example, the child don't want to put the game that he played back in place. And the parents already exhausted, tired, lost his mind for a second, And he's saying to the child, now for 1 month, you're not going to play. 1 month. And then when the parents came down a little bit, he said, it's too much a month. So you can tell the other parent, go convince the child to say sorry, and we're going to lower the punishments, maybe for 1 day, and zero. The punishment is there, but it's not there. There. But Abba or Ima coming by the name of the other parents, he said. So the child sees they're together, they thinking about this. No argument, no disagreement. So this is the place to bring out a problem that unfortunately I see a lot. And is very destructive. Very destructive. What is this? That the parents among themselves, the relationship is very bad. And it's full of emotions. And the what? They're bringing the kids into the war among themselves. In one way or another. And everything is coming what? What for? To kick the other side, to hurt him. I cannot even express what is the damage. I cannot even express it. If you're teaching your child not to listen to Abba, or Abba saying to the child, Lord, don't listen to Ima, you cannot be more destructive than this one. What's going to happen? The child will look at both of you like two losers, and he knows I cannot listen to this kind of people. And then where the chutzpah will come out. So now we're going back to Shlom Bayit. When you're not behaving between yourself, the parents, you're saying things which chas v'shalom to say them, or you're attacking each other, name calling to each other, Hashem Yirachem, and everything else, and the kids, what do you think? They're not dummies. They see all this. Sometimes it's in front of them. You're so busy with yourself that you don't care what happened to the kids. It's one of the most destructive things that you can do, and forget about discipline this child. Forget it. You kiv'at have no chances. That's why today, in all the yeshivot that I know, there is a crisis. And why there is a crisis? Why? Every child that we have to deal with, after all, miskin, he is a victim. The parents need a therapy, not the child. He is the outcome of these parents. One thing you have to understand, the child was not born like this. We have to be very careful how we behaving in front of the kids. Many people have very short fuses. They cannot control themselves. They're jumping on each other. And the kids have to see all this. And I'll take you one step further. If you're claiming that you're loving your kids, what kind of a parent who love his kids will make a scar in their neshama? Scar. What happens if you see a parent with a knife and he is cutting the child? What are you going to do? Call the police, no? Abuse. With a knife, you cutting your child? How many times with our tongue we cut the neshama of this child, but because we don't see the blood, we think that nothing happened.
Question.
Yes.
Is it the same when grandparents argue?
The what?
Is it the same when the grandparents argue?
Next to the kids?
Yes.
It's not the same, no. Because kids, they know that the grandparents are not responsible for them. They can laugh at them. But the question is good, and I'll tell you why. Right, that we always saying, try to run away from kavod. Yeah. But when it comes to self-respect, don't run away from self-respect. Self-respect have to stay there. How you gonna look at a person that do not respect himself? Wherever he goes, he fights. Did you see once two people fighting over a parking spot?
Yes.
Yeah. What a shame. What a shame. Where is your respect? Well, you have to scream and for what? So in front of the kids, are you maintaining your self-respect?
No.
So why they should respect you? Very simple. When you don't respect you yourself, nobody is going to respect you. When the parents arguing in front of the kids, and they acting also. So the child sees two people using a terrible, terrible language, and the child is not able to respect this. What do you see? What are you going to say about two people that going a fist fight for a parking spot? Do they have any self-respect?
We don't have respect for them, yeah.
They're like animals in the jungle.
In the jungle. So when you don't have a value for yourself, your word also don't have value. So your word that you're saying, who is going to respect it? So we have to come in front of the child as people, as I say, mechubadim, with respect. So when you respect a person, you're listening to what he's saying. Our kids, sometimes we calling them and they're not even answering us, meaning they do not respect us. And no respect linked to chutzpah. There is a ladder. First step, the second one, and the top one is chutzpah.
Kunaf, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you have an older kids who are already teenagers and they ask you a question on the spot between the parents, next to the parents, and you don't have a chance to discuss it between each other, but the kids are expecting the answer. How do you deal with that?
What do you mean they're expecting?
No, like they not expecting, I think it's pressed the right way. They wanna get an answer. How do you deal with that? In like you have no chance to discuss between the spouse.
There is no such a thing. You don't have to answer right away. And you can tell the child, you know, only the machines outside, when you put a coin, the Coca-Cola is coming down, right? This is instant. I have to talk to Abba. We have to think about it. And you have to wait. You see, the children, they say, now you have to teach him there is, be patient, Habibik. So if you give in to such a request, oh boy. What do you think will happen when this, not your kids, yes, but let's say a child that always got what he demanded now, and the parents say now. Now he'll get married. What do you think will happen?
He's gonna expect the same thing right now.
From his wife, right?
Yes.
Why the food is not ready? Don't you know these people? He got used to everything he said. Now, no way. Okay, so one more thing I have to tell you. Not to do, let's say that you want to have fun with the kids. So sometimes we get loose all the way, right? It may look funny, but I'll tell you how a child mind work. You can do faces and this and that, and the child sees that you're not so special like he thought. I'll give you an example. All my kids, they know how to imitate people. I'm telling you, you're going to be on the floor. Mamash, you're going to be on the floor. Sometimes I laugh, I don't know. And to tell you the truth, they got it from me. I was the best imitator. Purim in the yeshiva, I was the only one on stage. And every Rabbi, I used to do all his moves, the way that he talks, the way that he punishing, and everybody was on the floor. Mamash on the floor. But today, when my kid says, Abba, can you imitate this and this and this? If I say yes, they're gonna do it and do it and do it. What do I say? I don't know. Because if I'll do it, they laugh. I know that they're gonna laugh, but deep inside, right? Abba will lose a little bit from the respect that he had from the children. We're talking now, things that the parents have to be very careful. Maintain your kavod, maintain your respect. The more respectful you are, you're not going to see any chutzpah. So there is many arrows that leading to the outcome, to a symptom that called chutzpah, meaning husband and wife arguing in front of the kids. They're not on the same page. And the discipline is over, and yet they're losing their self-respect. So what's going to happen? You scarred the child. He will not respect you. And he will be a chutzpahdik. In the house, it can be, yes. In the yeshiva, we're not going to take it. So many times he understands that in yeshiva he cannot do it. In yeshiva he's a bubale. But when he comes home, wow, terrorist. Because he knows in the house he can do whatever he wants. So my advice to the parents, strongly advise, you can have two approaches toward chinuch. Nothing is wrong with this. Nothing is wrong with this. Legit. But if we have our differences, the child don't have to know that. When one parent's dealing with the child, the other one will back him up right away, even if he thinks otherwise. That's the right approach. Don't feel bad for the child. You better see that you are in one unit. Even though your stomach is turning upside down, that your husband is too tough with them, this and this. They're going to forget it. And they're going to get used to it. But at least they see that you're not opposing your own husband or you're not opposing your own wife. You're on the same page, at least next to them. That's the right way to approach it. You have enough information to think about. Okay? Tomorrow, the shiur will be at 1 o'clock in the session. And then tomorrow night, The class will take place from the Yeshiva Shar Etzion. I'm going to talk to the parents. And if you want, you can be also on the Zoom. And at least over there is going to be a live shiur. So
Thank you so much for all the advice. Beautiful.
okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
The topic for tomorrow will be, for the parents actually, how to make up after we argue or we fight. How do you make up? How do you make peace between each other? Very important.
Very good.
And after this, we'll start a new series, how hurtful words can be, and what is the sins that we're making, and when we call it verbal abuse, when is it emotional abuse? Hopefully it will help. Bezat Hashem.
Yes, Rabbi.
Thank you, Quadrav. Good
Thank you,
night.
Okay.
Rabbi. Very good.
I'll see you tomorrow, Emir Hashem, at 1
Yes.
o'clock. Have a good night, everybody.
You too,
Thank
Rabbi. Thank you.
Good night,
Have a
Rabbi.
good night.
Night, good night.